Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I'm smiling because there's going to be a vote-a-rama. There's going to be mania in the United States Senate today. As you know, we have 50 Democratic senators in the United States Senate, and we have 50 Republican senators. I'm smiling because it's actually going to be a comedic episode. It's almost going to be an episode of Seinfeld in the United States Senate tonight. You'll see this headline on your screen from Bloomberg. Democrats' go it alone stimulus plan faces a night of GOP sniping. In other words, GOP's grand old party, the Republican Party. We can expect Republicans like Rand Paul from Kentucky, Republicans like Rick Scott from Florida, Republicans like Marco Rubio from Florida actually make their voice heard about amendments to the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Keep in mind that the way the Senate works, and by the way, I want to be clear, this is normal course of business in the Senate. This is something that a lot of United States senators use sort of this opportunity to seek amendments in the budget resolution. They use this opportunity to get some airtime, to get some publicity, to bring up old issues, to bring up issues that they like, to criticize issues that the other party that they don't like in the other party. So today is going to be a day of mania. It's going to be a day of vote-a-rama in the United States Senate, as many senators say, I want this, this is bad, that is bad, I want this is bad, and that is bad. That is what's going to happen today. And according to reporting from Bloomberg, any senator can offer amendments. Any senator can offer amendments to the budget resolution that paves the way for the actual stimulus bill. So most measures are actually symbolic votes that are going to be unrelated to pandemic relief. Marco Rubio from Florida, there he is. What's up, Marco? Has already introduced many amendments. So most senators can actually use this as a symbolic opportunity to make their voice heard, to get some airtime, to go on whatever channel they want to go on, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, make their voice heard about things that are important to the country. Believe it or not, they are going to force amendments, and they are going to, different senators are going to try and force amendments, potentially votes on issues that are not related to stimulus, issues like immigration, issues like abortion and climate change. They're going to bring all of that into focus today. And again, keep in mind, this is a symbolic exercise, but it is going to result in quite a bit of mania and quite a bit of a sideshow today on the floor of the United States Senate. In fact, the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, there he is. What's up, Mitch? Mitch said that he's going to promise to force a host of votes, putting Democrats in a tight spot. Between the two parties, folks, check that out. 558 amendments have already been filed. These are changes that different senators want to the massive $1.9 trillion plan. Here's a quote from the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. We'll be getting senators on the record about whether taxpayers should fund checks for illegal immigrants, whether Democrats should raise taxes on small businesses in the midst of this historic crisis, and whether general federal funding should pour into school districts where the unions refuse to let schools reopen. Wow, pretty strong comments from Mitch McConnell. Now, keep in mind, folks, this parliamentary procedure is an old procedure, but it can be weaponized and it can be politicized. The ability for any senator to seek amendments in the bill, and as you can see, it is indeed being weaponized. The Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called the Democrats' attempt to pass a $1.9 trillion package through the process of budget reconciliation nonsense. Yes, that's what he said. And folks, here's some interesting reporting from Bloomberg. And Bloomberg reminds us that amendments to the budget resolution are generally non-binding, but can expose divides within a party. In other words, we'll hear from different members of the Democratic Party, and we've already talked about Joe Manchin, the conservative Democrat, and different members of the Republican Party essentially having disagreements with each other. So it'll expose divides within a party, or it can be used against lawmakers the next time they seek re-election. So the next time somebody's seeking re-election, one of the opponents will say, look at this amendment you brought up during the budget resolution process in early 2021. And folks, speaking of nonsense, the Democrats are dismissing what the Republicans are about to do as stunts. Democrats are saying that this is an attempt to set up future political ads rather than legislate. Here's a quote from the Democratic Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii. He said this on the floor of the Senate yesterday. He said, it is nonsense and everybody should ignore it. It is boring and it is the worst part of the United States Senate, but it is a very important means to an end. Now, folks, the reason I'm covering this is I want you to understand exactly what's going on in the United States Senate. As you know, this channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. What is happening is normal course of business. It's an arcane, it's an outdated parliamentary procedure. But like I said, it can be weaponized and it will be politicized. In fact, that is happening on the floor of the United States Senate as I'm recording this video. And folks, speaking of an amendment parade, let's talk about Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida. What's up, Marco? And Marco Rubio of Florida he alone announced about 2 dozen amendments. Yep, 2 dozen amendments from Marco Rubio, including increasing the child tax credit, preventing an expansion of the Supreme Court, which obviously he'll bring up when he tries to run for president again, and putting assorted restrictions on Chinese companies. He has a provision on spaceport bonds. Yes, I don't ask me what that is because I don't know what that is. But there are 2 dozen provisions from Senator Marco Rubio that have already been brought up. And you let me know what that has to do with stimulus. Zero, zip, nothing. And of course, Josh Hawley from Missouri, there he is. What's up, Josh? He is also going to be proposing amendments, I quote, to take on corporate power while preventing aid from going to school systems that have not reopened during the pandemic. Yeah, so that's a high priority for Josh Hawley, who's been quite coy about his presidential ambitions in 2024. And so, folks, how is this going to play out? What's going to be the end game? Once all these amendments are over, because everyone's going to propose amendments, everyone's going to stand up and talk about it, and everyone's going to get their moment of media exposure, if you will, on different television networks. The Senate will take a final vote to pass the budget resolution, and that requires a simple majority. If all 50 the Democrats vote for it, which they will, because Joe Manchin, there he is, a conservative Democrat. Hello, Joe, has already said he'll support budget resolution. And then the Vice President, Kamala Harris, there she is. Vice President Harris will cast a tie-breaking vote. We do expect this to pass. So this would allow Democrats to pass the actual stimulus bill by early March. Okay, so what we are looking at, folks, is the next stimulus could pass by early March before actual extended unemployment benefits expire on the 14th of March, as you know. And folks, what is interesting is they'll end up doing this without a single Republican vote. A single Republican vote. So that's it, everybody. Pretty incredible day that we can look forward to. A vote-a-rama, a day of mania in the United States Senate. Expect different senators to show up and to pop up across television networks with their talking points, criticizing the other side, because again, this is the way our system works. So in case you look at it and you scratch your head and you go, why are they not just getting stuff done? Well, because two sides, that 50 Democrats on one side and the 50 Republicans on the other side, have a different vision for America and a different vision on how we should deal with this crisis. The areas where they do have some consensus include aid for businesses. They have some consensus on money for vaccine rollouts and distribution. They have zero consensus on aid for state and local governments, and they are quite far apart on the stimulus checks and the unemployment benefits, which is why the Democrats are going to try and push this through after they get through the mania that we are going to see, that we are actually seeing on the floor of the Senate today. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would really appreciate that. That sets up a confetti-like atmosphere, and that makes me really happy. Look, guys, if I had a crystal ball in my hand, check that out. You like that crystal ball? Ooh, but if I had a crystal ball in my hand, I'd make it rain money. I'd make it rain money. And then if I could control the weather, I'd make it snow. Look, it's snowing. Wow, it's suddenly snowing right now indoors. But folks, if I could, I would make that happen for you. I'm a citizen journalist. If you appreciate my effort, please give me a like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.